Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about 9 reasons you're not losing your weight on GLP-1s. So my name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And we are the Downsized. This is the channel where we talk about all things GLP-1s, fighting the disease of obesity, weight loss, whether it be interviewing folks from the community about their journeys, the news, cooking, taste tests, you name it. We do all kinds of crazy things.
We do.
If you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe, hit that bell button, and it'll alert you every time we publish a video. And of course, we like to remind you that we're not doctors, so please speak to your doctor about your personal health care needs. But let me tell you about our journey. Let's start with Laraine.
Right. Why should you listen to us? We started on tirzepatide on September 29th of 2023. And over the course of about 6 months, I lost 50 pounds. So I started at 193 pounds. I'm 5'5". My current weight is 139. So what's that? 53 pounds. And it's been really an amazing journey. So now we're 77 weeks into the journey. I've gotten to a maintenance level, a maintenance dose. And so, in the course of these 77 weeks, we've, picked up some learnings along the way.
Right. So we started together in September of 2023, as she said. And between the two of us, we have lost, I think, a little more than 154 pounds.
So if you can do math.
If you can do math, you know how much I've lost. Exactly.
Yeah.
I started at 286.4. As of today, I think I was at 184, so about 102 pounds down. Now, it took me longer than Laraine, so it took me about 72 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm. A little over a year.
A little over a year. The first 50 was really in the first 4 or 5 months, though. Yeah. So it came off, and then it kind of slowed as I went. But we've learned a lot of things through trial and error and through making mistakes and, just waking up every week and taking our shot.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to talk about today, of course, is the 9 real reasons that maybe things have slowed down. Maybe you're not losing weight. Some of them are very functional and easy tips. Some of them are around mindset. So reason number 1, you're rushing the process.
Rushing the process, right. So it took me about 6 months, really, to lose about 50 pounds. So I lost at an average of 1.58 pounds per week, which 1.5, pound and a half. That's not a lot when you think about it, but it added up over time. So I think people just want to see those fast results. I know I wanted to see fast results, but you kind of have to look at this as a long-term change in your whole life, really. And that sounds kind of maybe overwhelming to think about, but it's a long process, I would say.
Right. So, we say, and it's cliche, but we say it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So most people did not gain all of the weight they have overnight. They're not going to lose all of the weight they have overnight. And the reality of the way these medications work medically is slow and steady is going to help you avoid some of the side effects, hair loss, all kinds of crazy things. And it's going to be a little easier to maintain once you get to a place where hopefully you have lost the weight you want to lose. The other piece of that process, I would say, is level setting your expectations. So it's easy to go on Facebook or Reddit or whatever and see, I lost 50 pounds in a month. Well, they didn't. Realistically, they didn't. Or if they did, they're in such a different situation than you are. So that's always the challenge of Facebook. You don't know who that person is on the other end. You don't know how tall they are, how old they are, how much they weigh, what their other comorbidities or health problems are. So comparing them to you, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's really easy to compare ourselves to others, right? But really, this is such an individualized journey, such an individualized process. You have to find the dose that works for you, the schedule that works for you, the foods that work for you, the maybe exercise that works for you. So it's really easy to compare, but try to focus on your own self, as my mom would say. Not my mom, maybe your grandma would say. Stay in your own yard.
And honestly, whatever that number is, the first week, the first month, it doesn't matter. It's really, where are you 6 months from now, a year from now, because it's a long-term plan.
Right. And the average weight loss on these medications is a half a pound a week up to 2 pounds a week. So if somebody told me I was only going to lose half a pound a week, I'd said, probably no thank you. But it does add up over time. And I have seen people that have lost between a half a pound and a pound a week through their journey. And, they're getting a little frustrated. But the point is, if you're losing weight on the medication, it's working for you. So just keep going.
And as you move up and as you change and as you learn how to live a different life, it all changes as well. All right, reason number 2, you're focused solely on the scale. So the scale goes up and down. Weight loss isn't linear, right? It does this, right? Our bodies are not a constant thing. You have to look at progress over months, not days. So the scale thing, right?
I mean, the scale has ruled my life for my 56 years. I remember as a small child weighing myself. I remember, I've been weighed at Weight Watchers. I've been weighed at weight clinics, at Nutrisystem, at Jenny Craig, at friends' houses where we decided we were all going to lose weight together. And it can become, for a lot of people, it is quite the focus. And I know for me, it was quite the focus because it's that measure of success, right? It's that I want to see the number go down no matter what. But you have to also look at other things that are happening around you on this journey. So are you gaining muscle? Are you getting stronger? Are you able to do more things? Are you able to maybe fit into some smaller clothes that you hadn't been able to before? Are your health markers getting better? Or is your blood work coming back better? I know those were all things that were important to us.
The scale is certainly the easiest indicator, and it's the indicator that we're the most trained to do, right? Everybody looks at the scale. Early on in the process, we got a digital scale, and we're able to get a lot more data off of it. If you don't have one of those, we strongly recommend when we have one available on our Amazon store, and they're not terribly expensive, usually $30-$40. You can get one that shows you a lot more data. But beyond that, there's all these things that are non-scale victories. So for me, going up and down the steps.
We have steps in our house.
Right. So we have steps. We have a second floor suburban house, a 2-story suburban house. Going up and down the steps just became easier even after the first 20 pounds.
Bug.
Right. So find those things that you can embrace because, weight is one of the measures, but it's only one of the measures. I know there's a lot of folks that also like to actually physically measure things. So measure, like for me, my neck got almost 4 inches shorter over the course of or skinnier over the course of the last year.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think. Who knew?
Well, and I'm sitting here with my legs crossed. So this is not something that I could have done this easily 50 pounds ago. So it's just small things like that you notice that are not scale related. So I do weigh myself every day. I do look at the information that my scale gives me, but there's more to the picture than just the number on the scale.
Reason number 3, you're treating the dose like a magic bullet. So it's interesting, really, in modern medicine, we kind of live in this world where we think stronger is going to move faster, or we think more is going to move faster.
Right, more is better.
A higher dose doesn't necessarily guarantee more weight loss.
Yeah.
And we've all got to figure out, really through trial and error and working with our doctors, what the dose is that works best for you. What worked for me may not be what works for you. I see conversations in social media and Facebook groups. Well, what was the best dose for you? Or what happened when you went from 5 to 7.5 or whatever? It's interesting. It just may not be an indicator of what's going to happen with you.
Yes. And so over the course of our time doing this channel, doing it for a little bit over a year now, we've talked to a lot of people who have been on GLP-1 medications, and we do a series called The Downsized Dish where I interview them, or Christopher interviews them, and we talk about their weight loss and their progress. And it really varies as to what doses people lose weight on. I hate to end the sentence in a preposition, but we've seen people lose weight with the 2.5 dose of tirzepatide right off the bat. We've seen people have really slow losses until they get to 12.5 or 15 milligrams of tirzepatide, that top dose. So it's just really important to work with your doctor and figure out where that dose is for you. And if you're losing weight on the dose, stay on that dose until you feel like you need to go to the next one. It's especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, it's just going to help you maximize your time on all the lower doses.
Well, and although we have taken tirzepatide, the same as semaglutide, so it's
Right.
Work with your doctor. You could potentially lose weight on every dose.
I did lose
you
weight
might
on
have
every
you
dose.
might have to move up
Yeah.
to find the dose that works for you. There's no set way to do this, right? The best way to do it is the way that works for you, and working with your doctor is going to, that sort of trial and error thing is exactly what's going to help you do that. Reason number 4, you're not eating enough real food.
Yeah, so it's really easy to undereat on these GLP-1 medications, and that's not something I ever had a problem with before, right? Because I was always hungry. I have the disease of obesity, so I was always hungry. I was never full. My brain was always telling me to eat. Well, now, being on this GLP-1 medication, my brain has gone quiet in terms of telling me to eat all the time. I don't hear that message anymore. And when I eat food, I get full now. And sometimes rather quickly. At the beginning, we got full really within a matter of bites. So it's really easy to say, oh, I don't feel like eating. Nothing looks good. I don't want to eat. And it's really easy to think, oh, now I have this power over food, right? Now I can be like all my skinny friends who never seem to eat very much. But the problem is, if you don't eat enough calories, you're not fueling your body enough to cause your body to release the weight. Your body will think you're starving to death, and it kind of like shuts everything down. So you don't want to do that. So you have to remember that you have to eat. And real food is best. I mean, a lot of people turn to protein powders or protein shakes, and I think that's fine to supplement, but your main meals, I feel like, should be based around real food, around protein primarily.
Well, and it's about building a habit that you can continue long term, right? So nobody can or needs to just live off of protein supplemented packaged goods
Well, I mean,
for the rest of their life. It's just not a great idea.
I was doing protein shakes for breakfast for a
Yeah,
long
sure,
time.
one meal a day.
And I don't think that's a bad
Mhm.
idea. And I get in a rut and I can eat the same thing for years, which is not great either. You need to vary your diet, but you don't have to rely on those things for this process. You can eat regular food, real food. But if you feel like you're not getting enough protein, I think it's okay to supplement.
So early on, you only have so many bites. These medications should work well for you. So, I mean, we say find something nutritious that and eat what you can eat early on, particularly. And as you go along, it'll be a little easier to eat more food. But you've got to get that nutrition in. You've got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because your body still needs the vitamins and the minerals and the fiber and all the things.
Yeah. So if you're still, eating Doritos for lunch, that's probably not the best idea. So make sure you're getting nutrition at every meal.
And honestly, I don't eat food that tastes bad. So if
Yeah.
it doesn't taste good, you only have so many bites, why are you eating it? It's not
Right.
worth it.
Right.
Reason number 5, you're skipping the basics: water, sleep, the whole 9 yards. I know you love these.
Well, I'm a big water fan. I actually do not have a water cup with me right now.
Which is
I don't know what I was
surprising. You
thinking.
normally do.
I usually do. So I have my big 40-ounce Stanley cup or Stanley knockoff cup, and I take it with me to the gym. I fill it up a couple more times a day, and so I just keep drinking it through the day. I think water is really important. Some people like to add electrolytes to their water. I like to add electrolytes to my water in the water that I take with me to the gym. I just think it helps me feel better, especially when I'm doing a hard aerobic workout. You can comment on water.
I drink a lot.
You drink? I drinks it.
I drink a lot.
I likes it.
I mean, the
yeah.
other pieces, I think, just because a lot of people have constipation or other issues, other digestive issues, water just keeps things moving. It's one of
It
those
doesn't
things
hurt.
that is just going to help you do it. Beyond that, sleep is just this really critical thing. So, make sure you're getting enough rest, particularly early on. A lot of people suffer from fatigue from these medications. If your body's saying stop, then take a moment and stop. And sometimes you just need
Yeah.
to rest.
Yeah, so especially at the beginning, we were super fatigued. And I'm talking, I get out of the shower and I'm like, I gotta lay down because that just wiped me out, right? And we work from home. Luckily, if we have a day like that, maybe we can grab a quick nap or whatever. But a lot of people want to know, what do I do for fatigue? And beyond electrolytes maybe helping a little bit, just rest, sleep. If your body says sit in the chair for an hour and just chill out, and you sit in the chair for an hour and you chill out.
So some of that is just your body adjusting to the medication. Although you can try vitamins and electrolytes and supplements, and they're not going to hurt. Try it, absolutely. Sometimes it just needs to go through the process. It's just what's happening in your body. So
Yeah.
kind of is what it is. And then that third kind of hidden thing is stress. So it's, we all have stress in our daily lives, whether it's raising our kids or working our job or
Husband.
Yeah, wife, you name it. So really beginning to work on yourself and thinking about, how can I alleviate some of the stress or certainly work through it? Because for so many of us, stress is one of those things that drove eating to begin with.
Yeah, so, I know in times of stress, the first thing I'm going to want is a carb, right? A comforting carb, a cookie, something. So I don't really crave those things anymore so much, in my head, but maybe the habit is still there. I find exercise is a good stress relief, going for a walk, just walk around your house. A lot of people just do house walking, steps in your house. If you are somewhere where you can go outside and stand in the sun for 5 minutes, I find that's always helpful. So there's lots of stress busting techniques out there. You just have to find one that works
But
for
it's
you.
that, we're all trying to take care of ourselves. So that little extra bit where you're saying, how is stress contributing to this? Think about it. It's a good thing. Number 6, you're inconsistent with your shot.
So what does inconsistent mean? I guess the best practice is to take your shot on the same day at the same time every week. Maybe put a reminder in your phone so you don't forget. I've moved my shot around for different things, especially at the beginning. Maybe I was traveling, or maybe I don't know why. I mean, we were going on vacation and I skipped one. And that really was not working toward my goals, right? If I'm going to be on this medication long term, probably for life, then I need to take it as it's directed and learn how to live with it, right? So if I'm constantly going off and on, or constantly like moving it around and playing with it, you're just not going to get the optimum results.
My number one tip is take your shot. Take it every week. Don't even question it. It's just part of your life now. Take the shot, and over time it will work.
We didn't take our shot before we did this video.
Nope, but we will.
We
today.
usually take our shot. We recording this on a Friday, so we usually take our shot after lunch on Friday. So I like to eat a high protein meal.
And I see lots of people that want to skip a shot for vacation or whatever, and I think the thing that what the science says about skipping the shots is it will impact you for the next month, essentially. These medications have a half-life of about 5 days. So after 5 days, it'll start diminishing how you feel about it, how your body's reacting to it. But you should be okay through 7 days. Well, it then builds on itself essentially for 4 shots or about 28 days. So if you miss a shot, it will impact the next 28 days. And it's just constantly making it a little more difficult for that medicine to do its job.
Right. Unless you have a medical procedure or something. If your doctor tells you to be off your shot for 7 days because you're having a colonoscopy, well, follow your doctor's order.
Absolutely. So take your shot. Take your shot. Number 7. This is your favorite one.
So you're not moving your body. All movement will add up, right? I, for years, tried to exercise my way to a lower weight. I did jazzercise. I did kickboxing. I trained for ran 2 half marathons. I did 2 sprint triathlons. I was sometimes doing 2 workouts a day between running and boot camp, and just got to a level of where I was hurting myself. Okay, so I started this whole like really intense exercise process, I think when I turned 40. Now I'm 56. I don't run anymore because I hate running. I always hated running. I was only running to lose weight, and I wasn't losing anything doing these trainings because I would just get so hungry afterwards that I just didn't have control of my eating. So it's very easy to burn 200 or 300 calories in a workout, maybe even 4 or 5 if you're running a long distance. Then you come back and eat a cheeseburger, drink a beer, and you've just negated your whole process. But on the other side of the coin, I do now do exercise about 3 to 4 times a week, but I'm not killing myself, right? So I'm doing a ballet bar class. I'm doing a step aerobics class. I'm doing a cardio dance class that's really fun. I'm using some weights. I'm doing some other body weight exercises. So do you have to exercise to lose weight? No, you don't. Is it helpful in the process? I believe that it is. I believe that you want to try to maintain the muscle you have, because when we lose weight, we also tend to lose muscle. And you can't choose what your body's going to offload, right? So by eating protein, by doing weight-bearing exercises, that's going to help your body keep the protein and release the fat. For some people who really can't or have never exercised, you start where you can, right? So maybe you take a walk, maybe you stand up from your desk a couple times a day where you were more sedentary. It's all going to add up.
Number 8, you're expecting to outsmart the medication. So this kind of goes into that diet mentality, right? That kind of, and I have, although I have lost weight periodically over the years, 20 pounds here, 20 pounds there, I've never actually done any organized diet or plan or fad or anything like this. However, I have watched her do every one of them over the last 20 years.
I started Weight Watchers in 1985. So, and I've been going to Weight Watchers pretty seriously for the past 3 years and on and off for at least the past 10 years. And I would see this all the time, people trying to outsmart the plan, right? Well, if I take this and I mix it with this, and then it's 0 points, and then then I can eat all I want of that. So it gives me more points left to eat junk food. Well, you're defeating the point. And so thinking you can outsmart the medication here is you can still out-eat this medication, especially if you've been on it for a pretty good period of time and you have a pretty steady stream of this medicine in your body. You can eat a bigger meal if you want to. You're probably not going to feel good about it. You're not going to feel good in your body probably, but I mean, you can. Also, conversely, if you think that, oh, I don't need to eat anything because I'm not hungry, that's not going to work either. You still need to give your body enough calories to where it's gonna still be able to perform all its functions. So, you need to take the shot. You need to eat in a calorie deficit, and how many calories that is for you. Work with your doctor. There's some online calculators you can look at. But if you need to fine tune that a little bit, you certainly can.
So at the end of the day, the whole kind of diet tricks and tips, everybody's looking for the secret. There's not really secrets to this. Take the shot, eat real food, protein, water, move if you can. There's not a lot of secrets to this, so don't try, because honestly, you'll just be wasting money in one way or the other, and a lot of times time, which I don't know about you, but time is often the most valuable thing that we have. Reason number 9, you're treating this like a diet instead of a medical treatment. So it kind of plays off the last one. So it's not a diet. It's the medical treatment of the disease of obesity. Now, I know you're passionate about that statement. Tell us about that.
Right. So obesity is a disease. It's not your fault. And now we have these GLP-1 medications that are medical treatments for the disease of obesity. So this isn't like Weight Watchers. It's not like doing keto. It's maybe you tried intermittent fasting. And if you like doing all those things and they work for you, that's great. But this is a medical treatment, right? You have to get these prescriptions from a doctor. You should consult your doctor as you're going along in this process. It's not, you're not going to hear tricks on, how to mix cottage cheese and Greek yogurt together and pour Jello in it and make a concoction. Like that's not what this is. This is really learning to eat better foods, to eat less of them, and to see what that looks like on your plate. Because maybe, I never really knew what a portion really looked like. I would weigh and measure my food and I would eat that food and then I would think, I want more food, right? So now I can put the food on my plate and know that the smaller amount is going to be enough for me.
And the eating less and the weight loss is only one part of this. So,
although it's the biggest part,
it is one part of it. The other thing that it does is these medications will impact the way that you think. If you haven't started taking these medications yet, it's really hard to explain. But there's this thing that people call food noise. It's that constant chatter in your head of what am I eating next? What's for dinner? What's for lunch? What's in the cupboard? Oh, I better hide that ice cream so my kids don't get it. It's this constant thing. And for many of us, that it can be an overwhelming thing. And it's that, whether it be genetic or biological or what have you, it's that drive to survive, to live, to forage, to find food, such that when these medications begin to work, and it's what tirzepatide and semaglutide both do, and GLP-1s and the GIPs, it begins to quiet that noise. It sends a signal from your gut to your head that says, it's okay, you can chill out now. You don't have to go forage for food. You're safe. And it gives you that sort of freedom and agency to think about other things and not be consumed by food. What was your experience with that?
A lot of people have asked us, when did you hear the food noise stop, or when did the food noise go away? And I really don't remember, because I don't think I ever knew, like when we started this September of 2023, I don't think I had ever heard the term food noise. I didn't know that what I had was food noise. So I just knew over time that I was not thinking about food constantly. And that was such a big relief. It was so freeing. I was able to, get more work done without worrying about what I'm going to have for a 3:00 snack, what I'm going to have for dinner, what's in the pantry, what sounds good to go out and eat this weekend. Like that doesn't consume my brain anymore. So it's just, there's so many more things happening, in your body, and just the being fuller longer, the getting that full signal. Those were all things that were new for me.
Well, and with this medical treatment, so fuller longer, takes longer to digest, food noise are this huge piece of it. But for a lot of people, it's also around some of their other comorbidities. It's around inflammation. It can impact PCOS for women and sleep apnea. And there's a lot of things that it's working on that we report on the news every week about some other research that's come out. So there's a lot of things that are happening with these medications that we're just figuring out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 9. Well, so let's look back. So what was the biggest shift for you over the course of the last year and a half?
The biggest shift over the last, just the knowing that I could be satisfied with such a smaller portion of food. That was really kind of hard to get my mind around at first, and now I When I used to get hungry before, I was thinking about this earlier, it was an emergency, right?
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was, I have to eat something right now or I am going to die and everyone here is going to know about it.
She was hangry.
At 12:01, I'm going for lunch. At 5 o'clock on the dot, what's for dinner? Like, I could not wait. And it wasn't really that I was physically hungry, although sometimes I was. It was more like a driving compulsion to eat. And that was the time of day that it was okay for me to eat. And I wanted to eat right then, as soon as possible, as much as possible. So that has turned off, right? So I don't, hear the ding, ding, ding in my head. It's 12 o'clock. Let's eat lunch. The dinner bell or whatever. I don't have that drive to eat anymore, which is awesome. I still get hungry.
Yeah.
I still get hungry. I'm on maintenance now, so I get hungry sometimes for lunch, for dinner, not so much for breakfast. But I have been trying to eat breakfast lately just to be able to hit another protein target.
I mean, for me, it was very similar. Just that ability to look at a smaller portion of food, honestly, a correct portion of food, because we so often just eat a lot more than we should and realize it's okay, right? For those people that are out there stuck right now, right? They feel like either the scale has slowed dramatically or they feel like they're in a plateau. What would you tell them?
To just keep going, just keep taking. I mean, you want to stop? You want to just quit? You want to quit taking the shot? The weight's going to all come back. For me, there's really no alternative, right? I'm going to keep taking the shot. I'm going to keep going. And even if the thing is, these medications work. They've been clinically proven. We know that they work. So if you've lost any bit of weight on them, they're working for you. So you just have to, you just need to dial in. You just need to find one of those things that maybe you could tweak a little bit and just keep going with it. Try different
honestly,
things. Log your progress. Make notes. See what works one week and doesn't work one week.
And sometimes it's just about letting the time pass, taking the shot and getting in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. I mean, this is possible. It's not about being perfect. You can eat something indulgent once in a while. The medication still keeps working and you just move on.
Yeah. It's a long journey, right? So when you first start, you really need to look at it at least for the next 6 months or year of your life. If not, forever. And you need to think about it like that. Like, this is now what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future.
And when you say that, so of your life, how has it impacted our lives? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it?
I mean, I just think we're healthier. I think we're stronger. Able to travel better, able to move better. Your cholesterol has come down. Your high blood pressure has gone away. Less inflammation, less joint pain. There's just so many things that we've benefited by losing weight.
What did you think of these 9 things? Is there one that resonates for you, or do you have another tip? Please leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear it and start the conversation there. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. My name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
We are the Downsized.